Assalamu alaikum. Hello everyone. My name is Michael Pee Y Asare and I'm excited to interact with the B2B community once again. In case you missed my first video on relational intelligence for entrepreneurs, kindly find the link in the YouTube description below. Today we are looking at customer development process for businesses, and before we do that, kindly take a second of your time to pause the video and subscribe to this YouTube channel so that you can be updated on other business related videos that can help your business to grow. So kindly subscribe now. Alright, so now we can start. You agree with me that the survival of a business and growth depends on its ability to generate revenue or make sales. Before a company will be able to do this, there must be a product or service out there that has been accepted and is being purchased by its prospects. Now, companies like Uber and Airbnb understand this. When we look at the success of Uber, for example, you realize that it is not successful for providing more improved taxis, but rather it is successful for solving the transportation problems of its prospects. Most businesses understand this, and it is high time that entrepreneurs or young business people understand that if they have customers, that will be the starting point of all their marketing activities or business related activities. The failure of most startups is not about the lack of technology, but the lack of its customer base. Now, customer development here basically means identifying the needs of customers or prospects and designing the product or service to meet this need. It is interesting that most startups are so fascinated about their idea or their concept that they fail to develop a target audience. The end result of this is designing a product without customers or without people to buy, or having the product on the market with less sales or not sales at all. When you look at the case of network marketing in Africa, this is a big thing, right? But most people are more excited about joining the network that they forget that they need to have people who are willing to pay to be under them, right? Or they need to understand that they need old people in their network, or they need to reach out to old people who might be interested in, for example, a longevity product before they can make whatever sales they intend to make. So let's relate this to business. We need to understand how we are going to make money or how we are going to optimize sales. We need to identify our prospects and know what their needs are. We need to know their purchasing power, and then we need to segregate these people so that we can fulfill their needs or reach out to solve their needs. Without customers, there is no business. Beyond creativity, entrepreneurs must be innovative. This is something that we like to say, but we don't really understand, because innovation in its simplest step has to do with identifying the needs of people or prospects and designing a suitable solution for these needs. Alright, so in the next few minutes, I'm going to break this down for you to understand how you are going to approach each of these. With regards to problem and knowing their problem, there is this thing that we call pain points approach that you can use to know what the customer is going through and provide a solution for. The first pain point that we will look at is the financial pain point, which has to do with how much people are paying now and whether or not they want to reduce this. The second pain point has to do with the process. What are they going through now to get whatever they need or the product that is available on the market, and whether or not they are willing to change this process. The third one has to do with productivity. Are they wasting so much time on getting whatever they need, and are they willing to reduce this time? The last one has to do with the support pain point, which means I'm trying to understand whether or not the client or the prospect is getting the support they need at each critical stage of their development cycle. So using the pain points to address the problem solutions usually helps you to position your brand well, especially in the minds of the prospects. And whenever they need a product or service, usually your product comes in mind first, if you're able to design the product to suit their needs. Now, I've been asked, how long should it take to complete the customer development process? The simple answer I give is that it depends on your business model. For example, with my startup, www.catagro.com, we spent more time to define our customers because we needed to be investor ready. We're not waiting for the investor to approach us to ask us on how much we are making or what our customer base is. So we decided to work on that so that when we take off, we will be investor ready. I remember once we were brainstorming, we came across the Steve Blank's theory. Now, he believed that there should be a scientific approach for the businesses or a prospective business to validate its assumptions about the customer's needs. So before a business takes off, you need to go through customer discovery, you need to go through customer validation before business creation, and even before the building of the whole system. So you can read more about the Steve Blank customer development theory to know whether or not it will fit for your business as well. Let's look at the last phase of my presentation, which has to do with the customer development process itself. Now let's look at what goes into this. First, you need to start with any existing data. There's no point or there's nothing to prove when you waste time to look for an existing data or statistics that's available at your fingertip. We do not need to fund an extensive or expensive research to validate our ideas. The second thing is that we need to interview stakeholders or prospective customers, whether or not they will accept our product, and basically test the market. The next thing we look at is mapping the customer process, if you know it or not, because it is only through this process that you understand what the customer goes through. So, for example, before Uber, if you needed to get a taxi, you had to go get it by the roadside, or if you are fortunate to have a contact, you needed to make a call. The driver must find his way to you. You needed to bargain the prices, and most importantly, you needed to have money on you at your final destination. Then Uber tries to address this by saying that you just needed to get the application, and with a tap, you can go through all this process without stress. So you get to pick your ride, you get to see your ride, and then you can even decide not to pay with cash. So basically, they have been able to map out the customer process so clearly. All right, so the next thing that we look at has to do with analyzing our competition. Now, we need to understand how our competitors are operating and how their customers are feeling. Now, most of us are so fascinated about our idea that we forget the impact of competition, and even sometimes live under this fallacy that our idea is so unique that there's nobody operating anything like that in the industry. Now, we need to understand that there are traditional competitors who will not necessarily be using our technology or be doing stuff our way, but rather are offering the same solution that we intend to propose, and that is why people are okay. So we need to understand how these customers of these competitors are feeling and how they are being treated. At best, we can even pose as customers so that we can understand the customer process from the perspective of the competition. The next thing that we are looking at has to do with analyzing the cause and effect relationship. Sometimes we need to ask ourselves what ifs. It's good to stay positive, but sometimes we need to play the devil's advocate and then know what the customer might want. So although this is available in the market, we ask, what if the customer does not want the water in the plastic bottle? When we're able to provide solutions to this, we give the customer what they actually need. And lastly, we need to conduct qualitative customer research. We need to understand what the customer needs by listening. If you have an existing business, then we need to pay attention to what the customer is saying. We need to know what the customer is looking out for. We need to know their comments, their feedback on whatever we are providing to the market. Now, these 6 steps are very important because they will help us to validate our solution vis-a-vis the problems of the prospective clients. All right, so to better appreciate whatever we've done today, let me do a quick recap on the customer development processes that we've discussed. We are saying that for us to generate enough revenue for our businesses to survive, we need to validate whatever business solution we are proposing, whether product or service, by understanding the needs of the customers and designing these solutions to suit their needs. So in bullets, we need data on existing or future problems. We need to know the feedback of our prospects. We need to experiment and test the market. We need to analyze whatever data we have so that we can turn the results into a solution. All right. Now, let me conclude by saying that for our businesses or startups to succeed, we need to pay much attention to our customer development. Don't forget to subscribe to the Born to Do Business channel by clicking the subscribe button below so that you can stay updated and get more insights on how you can grow your business. You can connect with me on social media at Mr. Pee Y Asare. Thank you very much. Merci beaucoup. Shukran.